Financial institutions are investing billions and billions of dollars into customer acquisition, only to lose a huge chunk of that investment due to unnecessary complication and friction during the onboarding KYC process. We're ID&D, a Mitek company that builds AI-driven anti-spoofing, liveness, and biometrics products that are designed to address this problem and help financial institutions with this problem. Our ID Live Face product is a facial liveness component that organizations use with their IDV processes that already secured hundreds of millions of transactions across the globe. And today we'll talk about liveness and anti-spoofing. So Dave, what is liveness and why should folks care about that?
Sure, well, so digital banking clearly adds a ton of value both to banks and to consumers who love the convenience. But the remote process still requires that we do a robust job of identity verification, even in that scenario, as if it was happening in a branch. Now, doing the process remotely does open the process to the potential for fraud by way of spoofs. So a spoof is when a fraudster attempts to present non-live information to represent their identity. So examples are, instead of a selfie, taking a picture of a copy of a facial image printed on a piece of paper or displayed on a screen, or maybe a driver's license image that was purchased on the internet. So it really is essential to the integrity of the process to ensure that selfies are demonstrated to be live and documents are demonstrated to be in the possession of the applicant. And so we're going to show you today how AI helps us do that with two demos, one of ID Live Face for facial liveness detection and ID Live Doc for document liveness detection.
Thank you, Dave. So we're going to show you first the ID Live Face. So this is the capability designed to distinguish between a person and a presentation attack. And let me start by saying that the key challenge of this demo is that in real life, the customers actually don't have to do anything to make this liveness check. So in real life, this capability actually doesn't have any UX at all. So, but we did put together a quick demo for you so you can actually see how it works. So, in order to make sure that we can establish liveness, first you need to take a selfie. And the selfie confirms that I am alive, I am an actual person in front of the device. Let's say if there's a bad guy who is trying to spoof the system by using a photograph instead of an actual person and get access to the onboarding system, and the product immediately shows that it is a spoof, it is not an actual person. Let's make things a little bit more fun and interesting, and let me introduce you to my good friend, Freddie McFraud right here, and it is actually quite a common attack threat.
This is where we earn our PG rating for this demo.
So now I'm looking pretty, right? So, and we can see, oh, no, it's the other way. So a nice looking feature. I might do a plastic surgery later to look like that. But what we see here is that the capability, the product can immediately identify that it is not an actual person, it is a presentation attack. And ID Live Face has been very successful in doing this distinction for customers all across the globe with hundreds of millions of transactions. And our customers were asking us whether we can extend these capabilities to the documents as well, because during the onboarding, it's important to make sure that there's an actual person and there's an actual document in front of the device. So with that in mind, we built a product called ID Live Doc. So here we're going to take, we're going to do the same kind of liveness analysis for Dave and his driving license. Look how he kind of looks like a karate kid here, right?
Yeah, when he was 10 years old, maybe.
Yeah, so we see that the product confirms that there is a document in front of the device right now. No. Now we're going to try to spoof it with the picture of the very same document and take a picture of it, and we see that the liveness is 0, so it is not a document. Let's go back to our good friend Freddie McFraud right here, and he put together this beautiful driving license, again using the same Dave's licenses, and you see that the score is way, way lower. So we can do this liveness analysis based on a single image. It doesn't require any user experience. And that is important because the legacy ways of doing liveness usually involve some type of active participation from the user. Blink 3 times, turn your head, move the phone. And that introduces a lot of friction. That introduces a lot of unnecessary complexity to the onboarding process. And although you might think, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? But it actually has very severe and very specific financial consequences. So Dave, what are they?
Well, we actually do have a case of a partner who had a very large retail bank as a customer, and they had been using an active liveness detection technique for this purpose. But it was adding a lot of friction to their onboarding process, and they were seeing a high rate of abandonment that they potentially attributed to that. And so they replaced it with a passive liveness detection approach that we provided them. And they saw an increase in application completion rates of 60 to over 95%. So there was a really dramatic improvement. So I think the lesson there is that friction can be really expensive, particularly during onboarding. So a retail banking customer is worth on the order of $2,000 to $4,000 over their lifetime to a bank. And so you can imagine that if that bank was taking those customers, they were gaining millions or even billions of dollars in value in the form of customers, new customers, that otherwise would have been abandoning the process. So that was our demo. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for your attention. And please do stop by our booth and see how your driver's license works with our technology.